Good morning, everybody. I'm never happy with this. All right, I'm going to continue on with my Are You Scared video, talking about governments and what's going on in the world. I did my update yesterday to talk about some of the things that are happening. For Christians, none of this should be alarming at all. It is not a scary time. It's actually a good time for Christians. As bad as it may be, in parts of the world, for Christians, it's deadly. There have been worse times for Christians, so it's fixing to get really bad for those that are digging their heels in and refusing to accept Christ. There are going to be still those that are out there that are not quite sure what to do, what to make of it. Those are the ones that we need to reach out for, and God is going to do his best to try to get their attention. And the world, in a apparent collapse, it can be frightening. Now, the stock market, never look to the stock market to know how the economy's doing. You can flip it like that. Just say one thing on the media, and you can make it go up or down. It's reactionary. And it's going to react long before or after an event. The left is still trying to scare the world. It's basically, the left is 100% anti-Trump. Anything he does. You saw his speech to the nation where he gets up and he's got a young boy there that he's talking about. Everybody stood up at the Democrats. They're refusing to acknowledge a young boy who's got problems. That's incompassionate because it's anti-Trump. That's their mantra, anti-Trump, everything. So don't worry about it. Besides, they're working for the devil, and the devil can't do anything but lie, so don't worry about it. So we're going to get back. I'm going to reread the verse that I did at the end of the last video, Proverbs 29:2. When the righteous increase, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people groan. People, not talking Christians. Now, Christians may not like it, but they understand that bad things happen to a world that is bad as a warning. If you stick your hand in fire, it hurts, right? It's a warning. Snakes hiss as a warning. Rattlesnakes even have a tail that rattles as a warning. Jesus came to earth during Roman occupation. If he was worried about the government and about what was going on in the world, he would have restored them, got them back to normal, and then he would have arrived. He didn't do that. And he didn't even fix it when he was here. Because 40 years after he left, Jerusalem was destroyed. The temple destroyed. He's not worried about that. Okay, Kitty's going to say hi, and then Kitty's going to go away. There we go. I pet you all the time, and that's why he's spoiled. So he wants to be petted. And you stay out of the trash. I had my leftover breakfast was in there. I made way too much. It's hard to cook for one. But I fried up some ham, a couple of eggs, and I love mashed potatoes fried. You brown them on both sides and you flip them, and then they've got a nice crust on them. And this time I had to do a Waffle House mix, scattered and splattered or whatever they call it, but they do it with hash browns, I do it with mashed potatoes. I put a whole bunch of onions in there and got them caramelized, and then I mixed them in with the potatoes. Really good, but I don't eat that much. And I'm still working on my, I'm drinking tea right now. I have to have coffee alternately. I can't have it all the time. It's one of the things that God doesn't want me to have too much of. Okay, so we know that it was not a good time when Jesus was here, and he still got his message out. So we need to get our message out, God's message out. Isaiah 10:1, woe to those who decree iniquitous decrees, and the writers who keep writing opposition or oppression. That sounds like our mainstream media. Woe to those who decree iniquitous decrees, and writers who keep writing oppression. Mainstream media, you don't have any viewers. They're reaching maybe 0.5% of the population at best. What you doing, kitty? I put something in his chair and he's has to go check on it. Okay, kitty's back, but let's see if he behaves. He's looking out the window. Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Test everything. You don't know something's happening. Is it for good or for bad? Only God does. So have faith in him, that if you're trusting in him, he's not going to give you bad. He's going to give you good. Now, you might get tested, but that's okay. Testing by fire makes us pure and perfect. I put him down, he's going to come right back. Yeah, you're going to come right back, aren't you, kitty? Yep. He's going to look out the window for a second. It's all a ruse. Now he's rubbing my arm to get me to pet him. Cats can be needy. They can also ignore you 100%, as if you don't exist, until they're hungry or they want to get petted. Proverbs 28:15, like a roaring lion or a charging bear is a wicked rule over a poor people. Okay, now he wants to fight, so now he has to go. I'm playing with the kitty. Yes, you're playing with the kitty. Now you got your attention. Now you got to leave. Okay, you can have that. Now he's going to bite. I didn't lock him up. I should have locked him up because he will not stop. I had to put him up. He drew blood. To them, it's playtime. It is not biting and drawing blood. It's playtime. They don't know the difference. Isaiah 1:23. Your princes are rebels and companions of thieves. Everyone loves a bribe and runs after gifts. They do not bring justice to the fatherless, and widows' cause does not come to them. The leaders, they're all after themselves. We're seeing the evidence come forth daily on how corrupt our government was and how rich all of our politicians became on our money. There's no money in Social Security. They're kind of keeping it afloat because they stole it and nobody's doing anything about it. Get in and shut the back door. Stop taking money out of Social Security. It will take time to build it back up, but let it build. Don't add that money to the coffers. It's not your money, government. None of the money you've got is your money. Period. It belongs to the people, and you've been stealing it. If a government worker gets caught stealing at a local level, he can be in trouble. But the big guys can steal billions of dollars and walk away scot-free. It's not a fair world. They've been caught, though, so it's going to be hard for them to continue. Romans 13:1, let every person be subjected to the governing authorities, for there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. It doesn't mean that they are doing God's bidding. God brings in leaders to reward the people or to punish the people, or a combination. The people of Israel were being punished by Rome because they did not turn to God properly. Jesus chewed out all the religious leaders. Every time he saw one, he called them vipers and whitewashed tombs. They were not leading the people in the right way. They were power hungry. 1 John 5:19, we know that we are from God, and the whole world lies in the power of the evil one. This is Satan's realm. God is over everything, including Satan. So he's got limits that he can do. Satan's purpose in life, I think the reason that God is put up with him is he's there to counter what God is doing. You get a choice. You want good or evil. You want heaven or hell. Satan is the counter. God is humongous. God is the size of the universe. Satan is this big. So we don't have to worry about the power of Satan with God. If you're not with God, he's far more powerful than we are. But with God, it's like the Hulk scene when Loki comes up to him and goes, I'm a god! And Hulk picks him up and flips him back and forth. Of course, it's all CGI. Flips him back and forth, slams him into the ground. Puny god. Yep. That's Satan. Satan's a puny god. Little g. Proverbs 14:31. Whoever oppresses a poor man insults his maker, but he who is generous to the needy honors him. Remember when Jesus said, you fed me, and that was when he was feeding the needy. You clothed me, and then he was clothing the needy. You were doing that for God, and he accepted that. Titus 3:9. But avoid foolish controversies, genealogies, dissensions, quarrels about the law, for they are unprofitable and worthless. As for a person who stirs up division, after warning him once, then twice, have nothing more to do with him. That could be individually, business, or in church. There are people who will be, they'd like to cause trouble. It gets their attention. It makes them feel better and above everybody. Have nothing to do with them. Knowing that such a person is warped and sinful, he is self-condemned by choosing that path. These verses are scattered throughout the Bible. They're all good. The whole Bible is good for edification, reproof. Romans 8:28. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for according to those who are called, for those who are called according to his purpose. So, never worry about what's going on. I'm not saying you could walk through a minefield, but with God holding your hand, you could. Don't try it. Don't test God. But you could, without a map, if God was leading and you were in good enough communication. That's an example, not a request. Genesis 9:6. Whoever sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed. For God made man in his own image. So don't be killing anybody. This is 9. You can go back and see the context of that. These are good verses about not worrying about your surroundings, not worrying about the government. God can help you to prosper during anything if you're working for him. Romans 13:4. For he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid. Talk about not being scared or afraid. If you're doing wrong, you need to be. Be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. For he is the servant of God, the avenger who carries out God's wrath on the wrongdoer. Should have read this verse first. I got them backwards. Romans 13:3, the verse before that. For rulers are not a terror to do good conduct, but to bad. Would you have no fear of the one who is in authority? Then do what is good, and you will receive his approval. Otherwise, for he is God's servant for your good. But if you do wrong, be afraid, for he does not bear the sword in vain. Okay, these are rulers. Ezekiel 22:27. Her princes in her midst are like wolves tearing the prey, shedding blood, destroying lives to get dishonest gain. There are people out there, that's all they want to do. Speaking of wolves, did you see where they have successfully DNA cloned a dire wolf? They have been extinct for a few thousand years. They've got a dire wolf that they've created, and it's got offspring. They modified the DNA of a regular wolf that was close to it in the DNA chain. They said 99.9% close to the dire wolf. And they spliced in dire wolf DNA that they got from someplace. They're relatively, in geological time, modern extinction, which means that they still found some DNA in it, apparently. Marrow has DNA in it, if you can find a bone that you can get into. And they're saying by 2028, 3 years, they're going to be able to recreate the woolly mammoth. Like they said, there's at least 4 movies, I think, out now on Jurassic Park, and why you shouldn't be messing with that. But they're going to. There may be something that is not inherently good in them that would cause problems. I believe they would create a Jurassic Park if they could. They don't know how yet. Psalm 109:8. May his days be few, may another take his office, may his children be fatherless and his wife a widow. Talking about bad rulers. You may wish that on some people. The left wishes that on Trump, but he's already well established. He's already a billionaire. You can't pay him. You can't buy him off. They hate that. They've been able to buy everybody else off. But these people are still there. So you need to be vigilant. You need to stay close to God at all times. Or the devil can come in through any means possible and destroy you. As a Christian, the devil wants you dead, destroyed, gone, off this earth, no longer a hindrance. Don't give him an opportunity. He can't lay a hand on you if you're next to Jesus. But if you wander off, you're on your own. Now, God will protect you up to a point, but he won't go against your free will. So you can push. If you want to be sinful in this world, even as a Christian, God will do everything he can to prevent it. He's going to be tough on one end and enticing on the other, whatever it takes to get you back in the fold. If you're a lost sheep, he will do what he can to help. But you ultimately hold the key. If you choose to be disobedient, there will be a price to pay, but you can do it. So the Bible has known about this stuff for a long time. Don't let it bother you. Don't worry about it. It will never reach a Christian doing God's work. And if it does, it will be cut down. There are times where bad things can happen, deliberately, because God wants to show any number of things. God has infinite number of ideas on things. He may want to show what a Christian can endure, that a Christian can endure tough times and still smile about it. It may be that you've got to relate to somebody who's going through hard times, and you've been through hard times, so you can relate. If you've never gone through hard times, which would be very rare, but at least maybe in modern times, you can't relate to somebody who's struggling. But if you have been, you can relate to them. You can be compassionate. There are reasons. We need to have our faith tested from time to time. God only knows, and it's all for good, so don't worry about it. Smile about it. Remember I said when you're not feeling good, force a smile on your face. Use duct tape if necessary. It's hard for you to feel depressed when you're smiling. I don't know what it is. The brain knows that if you're smiling, everything must be okay. Try it. Until we meet in the clouds, God bless.